All right, let's get right into it. We live in a world where words and ideas can be incredibly powerful, even dangerous. Some stories are just a chilling reminder of the real-world cost of speaking your mind. And this is one of those stories.
I mean, think about it. When does a simple word become so potent, so dangerous, that it can actually cost a person their life? We're going to explore that very question through the tragic story of a journalist named Imtiaz Mir.
To really understand what happened, we're actually going to start at the end, with a voice that was brutally silenced on a busy street.
And Imtiaz Mir, he was one of those voices. You have to understand, he was working in an environment where public discourse is like walking a tightrope. He knew the risks, but he dared to speak up anyway.
So, who exactly was Imtiaz Mir? Let's back up for a second to really understand the man and the work that put him right in the spotlight.
For years, if you lived in Pakistan and watched the news, you knew his face. He was a constant presence, a familiar anchor who guided people through the most complicated events of the day.
But here's the thing about Mir. He wasn't just some talking head reading a script. No way. He was a true analyst. He would take the news apart, challenge the official stories, and really try to get to the heart of what was going on.
And that was his whole deal, you know? He believed in dialogue. He would wade right into the most sensitive, most heated debates, political, social, you name it, because he believed that's where true understanding begins.
But it was one of those very conversations that would ultimately seal his fate. This is the moment where a simple discussion turned a respected journalist into a target.
Okay, so this slide is absolutely crucial. You have to see the disconnect. On the left, there's the reality. Mir offered a thoughtful, nuanced perspective on a complex topic. But on the right, that's the perception. An extremist group took his words, twisted them, labeled them pro-Israel comments, and then, and this is the critical part, declared them blasphemous.
And in that kind of supercharged environment, an accusation like that, it isn't just an opposing view. It's like lighting a fuse. The anger online just exploded, the threats started pouring in, and an unseen violent ideology had found its next target.
So how did we get from online anger to a real-world tragedy? Well, the escalation from whispers in the dark to a chilling message in broad daylight was frighteningly fast.
This timeline just lays it all out with stark clarity. It starts with the broadcast, then, bam, the accusation hits. From there, the online threats just spiral out of control. By late September 2025, those threats became a horrific reality when he was shot and killed. A month later, authorities finally arrested 4 suspected militants.
And there was zero ambiguity about the reason why. The Sindh Home Minister confirmed it directly. The motive was revenge, tying the violent act directly back to that fatal, twisted interpretation of his words.
So why does this one story, this one journalist's life, echo so loudly? Because, it's not just about Imtiaz Mir. His story holds up a mirror to much, much larger issues.
His death became a symbol. It's a tragic testament to just how fragile free speech can be, especially in a place where perception can be weaponized with absolutely deadly results.
When you really break it down, his story illuminates some critical truths. It shows us the immense dangers journalists face every day, how religious feelings can be twisted and used as a weapon, the ever-present threat of extremism, and maybe the most important takeaway, how fragile free speech is when what people think you said is more dangerous than what you actually said.
Now, the arrests brought some measure of justice, sure, but they can't even begin to answer the deeper, more profound questions his murder leaves behind. And it's those questions that really get to the heart of this whole thing.
So we're left with this. His story really challenges all of us. What kind of society are we building when the mere interpretation of a word can lead to such unforgivable violence? There's no easy answer to that question, but his legacy forces us all to confront it.